In Argentina's history, there were black immigrants from Africa known as Afro-Argentines who were enslaved during the 18th century. Initially, they constituted a significant portion of Argentina's population, but over time, their numbers decreased. According to a census conducted by the Spanish Council in 1778, Afro-Argentines accounted for approximately 37% of the country's population. However, in subsequent years, their population dwindled to around 15% of the total population. As a result, Argentina is presently considered the whitest country in South America. Due to the limited presence of Afro-Argentines, it has become exceedingly difficult to find them in prominent careers such as sports, journalism, politics, and other fields. In this video, we will explore the history of Afro-Argentines and investigate the factors that contributed to their decline and eventual disappearance in Argentina. Let's delve into their history. During the 16th century, black individuals were forcibly taken from their homelands in Africa, subjected to chains on their feet and hands, and sold into slavery. Some originated from the Cape Verde Islands, while the majority belonged to ethnic groups that spoke Bantu languages, hailing from regions that encompassed Angola, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Republic of Congo. A small number of individuals came from Europe and other places. By the 1600s, an estimated 12 million African slaves had been transported to Latin America via slave ships. Tragically, during the transatlantic journey, approximately 10 to 15% of the captured slaves perished, and many more lost their lives during the process of enslavement while traveling through the interior parts of Africa. For every 100 slaves who successfully reached the New World, there are records indicating that about 40 lost their lives. Some of these black individuals were captured and brought to Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. During that time, the primary commercial activity in Buenos Aires was the trading of slaves for profit. Enslaved individuals were compelled to work in various sectors, such as agriculture, livestock, domestic service, food production, and craftsmanship. In urban areas, many slaves engaged in handicraft production for sale, with the profits flowing into the pockets of their masters. The neighborhoods of San Telmo and Montserrat in Buenos Aires had a significant concentration of slaves, although most were eventually sent to the interior provinces. As the slave trade industry grew, capturing and importing slaves from Africa accounted for around 70% of trading activities in Buenos Aires. This historical account sheds light on the presence and subsequent decline of Afro-Argentines in Argentina. The factors that contributed to their reduction and eradication warrant further exploration and understanding. The Afro-Argentine legacy. Understanding the decline. Argentina's history is intertwined with the rich and complex heritage of Afro-Argentines, whose roots can be traced back to the era of the Atlantic slave trade. Though their numbers are relatively small today, estimated at around 1 to 2% of the population, their cultural contributions have left an indelible mark on the country's identity. In the past, the slave trade was legalized in Argentina. In 1778, a census conducted by Juan José Salcido Vartes revealed a significant concentration of black individuals in regions where agricultural activities thrived. At that time, blacks accounted for approximately 50% of the total population, and this number continued to rise due to ongoing importation of slaves. However, in 1813, the slave trade was officially abolished, yet slavery itself persisted until its ultimate abolition in 1853. Afro-Argentine culture holds immense significance within Argentina's diverse cultural heritage. Buenos Aires, once a hub for the slave trading business, is now celebrated for its architectural splendor and structural beauty, which stand as testaments to its historical past. The denial of rights was a prevalent issue for Afro-Argentines throughout the colonial period and into the 19th century. Considered property rather than human beings, they were devoid of legal rights. Even after the abolition of slavery in 1853, Afro-Argentines faced segregation and discrimination in various facets of life. They were often excluded from schools, churches, and public institutions, and were compelled to reside in separate neighborhoods. Employment opportunities were limited, with Afro-Argentines often relegated to menial or poorly paid jobs. Discrimination extended to hiring, promotion, and political participation, leading to minimal representation in government. The right to vote was not granted until 1912. Discriminatory laws and practices resulted in many Afro-Argentines losing their land and property, often without compensation. Racism hindered their access to education and healthcare facilities, contributing to their economic and financial struggles. In 1857, out of the 14 schools in Buenos Aires, only 2 black children were admitted, despite 15% of the student body being of color. The decline of the Afro-Argentine population can be attributed to a combination of factors during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. One key factor was the abolition of slavery in 1813, which impacted the recruitment of new slaves and subsequently affected population growth. The story of Afro-Argentines is one of resilience and cultural resilience in the face of adversity. Understanding their history is crucial in fostering a more inclusive and equitable society for all Argentinians. The Afro-Argentine population witnessed a gradual decline as a result of various factors. One significant cause was the absence of a legal framework to import new African slaves, limiting the growth of the Afro-Argentine community. The Argentine War for Independence, which erupted in 1810, also played a role in reducing the black population. As Argentines fought for their independence from Spain, many black men who were slaves were coerced into joining the battlefronts. This led to a high number of casualties among the black population. While they contributed to the struggle for independence, it is believed that the Argentine forces also saw it as an opportunity to diminish the number of blacks in the country. Maria Remedios del Valle, a notable figure, fought alongside her husband and children during the war. Her bravery and dedication earned her the title of Madre de la Patria, or Mother of the Nation. However, she tragically lost her husband and son in the conflict and later succumbed to poverty in 1847. Another remarkable figure, Jacinto Ventura de Molina, born into slavery in Buenos Aires in 1773, fought in the Wars of Independence. He was wounded in the Battle of Salta in 1813 and subsequently died from his injuries. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the Argentine government actively encouraged European immigration, which led to an increase in the number of white individuals in the country. With the influx of European immigrants, the vision of a whiter Argentina was realized. The intermarriage between Europeans and Afro-Argentines resulted in a new mixed-race population, further diminishing the presence of individuals with black skin. Moreover, former slaves and their descendants faced heightened competition for employment due to the impact of European immigrants on the labor market. Racial prejudice and discrimination compounded the economic challenges faced by Afro-Argentines. Deteriorating health conditions like cholera and the yellow fever epidemic also contributed to the decline of the Afro-Argentine population. In 1864 and 1871, Afro-Argentines experienced a higher proportion of fatalities, further exacerbating their population decrease. As we delve deeper into the history of Afro-Argentines, it becomes evident that multiple factors, including the abolition of the slave trade, war casualties, immigration policies, economic competition, and health challenges, have played a significant role in shaping the decline of their population in Argentina. Marginalization and the decline of a community. In Argentina, many Afro-Argentines faced challenging living conditions, lacking access to basic necessities like clean water and sanitation. Moreover, they endured discrimination and social exclusion, limiting their ability to obtain medical care and other essential resources for disease prevention and treatment. Traditional medicine and home remedies were often relied upon by Afro-Argentines, but these remedies were not always effective in combating illnesses. Consequently, many Afro-Argentines lost their lives due to inadequate healthcare options. The phenomenon of whitening cream and interracial marriages also played a significant role in the decline of the Afro-Argentine community. The loss of black men during the 1810 war and the prevalence of diseases resulted in black women comprising a larger portion of the Afro-Argentine population. With limited options, these women faced a choice between marrying Argentine men or competing for the few remaining African men. Many women opted for the former, seeking interracial marriages as a means to improve their social standing and secure citizenship rights. This desire for a better life led to efforts to ensure their offspring had a white appearance. The offspring of interracial marriages became known as non-whites, a term that superficially denied Argentina's racial diversity. If one were to examine the current population of Argentina, it would become apparent that the non-white population exceeds both the pure black and white populations. The whitening effect of interracial marriages not only altered genetic makeup and skin color, but also impacted cultural consciousness. Approximately 90% of individuals in Argentina who identify as white may be unaware of their Afro-Argentine ancestry, highlighting a lack of knowledge regarding their true racial heritage. All of these factors contributed to the marginalization and eventual disappearance of the Afro-Argentine community. Today, Afro-Argentines represent a small fraction of the overall population, estimated to be around 1% or less. Unfortunately, their cultural and historical contributions to Argentina often go unrecognized and underrepresented. The decline of the Afro-Argentine community serves as a reminder of the challenges faced by marginalized groups and the need for greater recognition and inclusion in society. Rediscovering Black history and cultural heritage. The erasure of Argentina's Black history has been a staggering ethical boundary. As the lives of Afro-Argentines were lost, their stories and contributions were also lost in the annals of history. In recent times, there has been a resurgence of the Black community in the 20th century, with Afro-Argentines tirelessly working to reclaim their history and share their narratives. Initiatives like the Grupo Cultu Rel Afro, SOS Racismo, and the Africa Viva Group, founded by Paco Madrid, have played a crucial role in revitalizing interest in Argentina's African heritage. Additionally, Afro-Uruguayan and Afro-Brazilian settlers have contributed to the enrichment of African culture in Argentina. The Forum of African Descent and Africans in Argentina was established on October 9, 2006, to promote social and artistic pluralism and combat the marginalization of the Black population in the country. The National Institute Against Discrimination, Xenophobia, and Racism, INADI, is a public institution dedicated to fighting discrimination and racism. In 2021, the Argentine government formed the Afro-Argentine Community Federal Advisory Council, comprising prominent Afro-Argentine activists and scholars. A significant milestone was reached when November 8 was designated by the Argentine legislation as a day to honor Maria Remedios del Valle, a female Afro-Argentine soldier who fought for Argentina's independence during the Argentine War of Independence in the 19th century. Since 2013, November 8 has been officially recognized as the Afro-Argentine Public Day, celebrating the African culture that is deeply rooted in Argentina's history. However, the question of whether Argentina is truly a white country or not continues to persist. This question cannot be simplified into a black and white framework. Nonetheless, it is commendable that white Argentina has not completely erased the presence of Black Argentines from its narratives, particularly considering the brave contributions of Afro-Argentinians to the country's fight for freedom. As we conclude, we invite you to share your thoughts on Afro-Argentines. Do you believe they deserve prominent positions in Argentina? Let us know in the comment section. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.